What's happening? Welcome to Violet Eyes Astrology and Tarot. I'm Vika. Today we're gonna be looking at the weekend horoscope. Um, so it's gonna be the weekend after this eclipse, this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So before that, I did want to kind of let's see. Last night I went outside and to look at the moon, and I noticed that the sky was brighter than usual because of the full moon. And it was also it looked kind of reddish. So I did look up what the penumbral eclipse means. So I'm gonna use my crystals here to kind of demonstrate. So I guess we can make the big. I'll just make this Earth because it stands out. And anyway, so the prenumbral eclipse, what it is it's basically the sun. Let's see, yeah, the sun, Earth, and moon aligning. When they align, that's when the eclipse is happening. But what the moon is doing, let's say, this is Earth, this is the moon. So what the moon is doing is that it's coming in because it moves fairly fast around the Earth. So it's coming in, getting all the heat from the sun, and we've been able to see it in the sky as the full moon. So it's reflecting all the light from the sun. Once it hits the shadow of the Earth, that's why it's the penumbra, the shadow of the Earth, that's what it's called. Once it reaches back there, that is when all the heat that the moon has received from the sun is now in dark, but it's radiating red because of how hot the moon gets with the sun. So in this shadow being eclipsed, and then of course all that heat is bouncing off to the Earth, to us. And it was a pretty hot night, actually, last night. And then it moves on, right? And so that's basically what the eclipse is. And even just from that, it makes me think, okay, so if the moon is representing our mind, our subconscious mind, and it's lit up red like that, it's like radiating from all this energy of the sun in Taurus. I feel like it's, even in the dark, there was that red of the moon. There was that kind of like that, like right now I'm using a light to, the light is bouncing off of my face. So there is like this energy that is coming from within us, that we've already, there's a knowing from us, from the sun, the ego, that has now like come to our consciousness within us, and it's now reflecting back to us metaphorically as the Earth. So there's something that we have brought to our conscious minds about ourselves, which is now ready to be expressed outwardly to the world, to everybody around us. And with last weekend's horoscope, with all the verbal arguments and confrontations, and let's hope that in our mundane arguments we can see beyond that and look into the roots of why we reacted the way we do, and how there's deeper meaning in all of our mundane tasks, and also the mundane dynamics in relationships with the people around us. So so that's basically it with my just like simple thoughts without looking at any charts on what this eclipse is. And now going over here, let me see if we can get a better. Okay. Hallelujah. That's good enough. I shouldn't put myself up here. Okay. So, with Saturday, May 6th, in the morning, the moon will still be in Scorpio, as you can see over here. The moon is going to be opposing Uranus, which is in Taurus, which is conjunct the sun. So there's all this, still this like radioactive, like electrical shock that our minds are still processing, that it's still like in that transformation mode. Our mind is still in that. And this is gonna this can help us to well, it's gonna help us to kind of like ignite our with our relationship, since the moon is 7th house here. So this is all about the self and the relation to others, and how all these things that have been happening, and there's more this weekend with deep talks, because Pluto's still here. Pluto is ruler of Scorpio, and the moon is there, and then Uranus being modern ruler of Aquarius, and Pluto being there. There's definitely a connection right now between the sun, Uranus, Pluto, and the moon. And so then what is taking place in Leo, there's nothing there, so everything's happening over here. So, and then Lilith and Mars still in the moon's house. So this is really all about uncovering the layers, about being able to kind of like adopt new ways of seeing things. There's a lot of kind of like a communication of our soul coming out, and like showing ourselves and seeing who other people are, even in the dark of the night when they have tried to hide. So just like I was saying with that red radiance at nighttime, that's kind of how right now it's gonna be really hard to hide who you are. And that's where the conflict is happening with Mars being in Cancer. It's with showing you your true colors, and kind of like how can we still find unity? How is this gonna change the way we see unity within like our close ones, within our family, while still having our own independent self, our own individual within the group. So then later on in close to 4 p.m. Pacific time here in Central, the moon is entering into Sagittarius. So the moon kind of leaves that harder place in Scorpio now to the wisdom and yet lightheartedness of Sagittarius, and it will also be opposing Juno here and Aldebaran, and it also opposes Algol. So Algol is the asteroid of, it's Arabic for it's a demon star, and it's alcohol, and it represents, so like alcohol and al-ghul, it means like kind of like ghoulish, like spirits. And it's kind of like how we, when you drink, you're basically allowing yourself to enter. When you drink, you're allowing yourself to enter a very receptive state of mind. And this is why a lot of people drink, because it it relaxes them. I'm thinking of I don't know if any of you ever watched like Trailer Park Boys, where Randy is always telling Mr. Leahy, well, Randy, we'll just let the liquor do the thinking. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, let's let the freaking liquor decide. No, 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 no. It's like, I mean, I have been sober for 5 years. I started trying to get sober in 2014. That was my first serious attempt at sobriety. I was in an outpatient program, and then I relapsed. I would be 6 years sober, but I relapsed after my first, on the 365th day of my first would have been year of sobriety. I relapsed, and it took me about 2 years after that of little tries and to really fully be sober now for 5 years, thank God. Coming to 6 years this summer. So I'm really grateful for that. It's brought me a lot of clarity, because when you are drunk, when you're intoxicated, it's just, you become an open vessel, not just to the people that you're engaging with. Like, you're so susceptible to being manipulated and influenced, but you're also like susceptible to the forces that be, and to the energies that we cannot see. So all these like spirits and ghosts, and that you really do become possessed. So with the moon opposing Algol, I feel like it's a good thing, because it's kind of like, okay, like, we're not like I mean, it can go both ways. The negative aspect of this could be to where other people do try to kind of influence you. They do try to persuade you to see things their way, to change your mind. And the good thing is, though, the positive aspect that I see from this is that you can also there's no more confusing. There's no more pretending. Like I was saying, like, you cannot hide who you are. You can't dizzy someone into, like, it's clarity is coming. And especially because Mars is cutting through. And it's trining with the moon. So things are gonna be, you're gonna have the ability to assert your opinion, assert your beliefs, your values, and to stand your ground in a very respectful manner always, to try to keep our independence with Lilith here. And while I was doing the eclipse horoscopes, which I recommend you watch, the word emancipation came up a lot. And how can we be emancipated but still, being a good member of the not a good member, but freedom within the group, which I just said that. I'm repeating myself. Okay, so the moon being here and Jupiter being in Aries, getting closer to the North Node, I feel, and the node is, the shadow of the moon. So it's kind of like, it's expanding this, it's like an arrow shooting up our thoughts, our most subconscious thoughts and beliefs and philosophies and ways of life are coming up to the surface. And this could have to do with passion, love, with what you are dedicated to, with the people that you are, and how that is impacting for better. No, I mean, hopefully everybody states their intentions. Like, if you cannot come to terms, if you cannot agree or convince someone that your beliefs, they should adopt your beliefs or accept what you do, then at the least I think you could do is state your intentions, and that'll at least help bring more clarity. Because the thing we do is our different path. but our intentions are, there's more chance that we agree on intention than in the way we're gonna reach that intention. And then Sunday, the moon's still in Sagittarius, so now the moon is trining Lilith, so just standing your ground. The moon is now conjunct Fortuna here in Sagittarius, so it's kind of like, well, let's see what happened. What was the fortune, the wheel of fortune has been spun, and we're seeing now where we're landing. We're seeing now what we have, the cards that we have had, and how we have played them. And this weekend, it's kind of like, what's happened? What has been the result of that? And then, oh my gosh, that is Sunday, end of the day. Okay, well, so yeah, just a little bit of that kind of a weekend where I feel like I've pretty much said everything I needed to say. I want to keep the message like that. So, my intentions with this channel is to, look at the astrology, learn with you as we go along, go and explore. And my intention is to make a horoscope every weekend. This channel is originally in Espanol, so I will be continuing with my tarot readings, and I'm just hoping that I can just bring the best forward. And I want to pull a card for this weekend, so let's see. Gonna shuffle. Yeah, just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking my videos. If you would like a personal birth chart reading, there's 2 options, and it's in the link below for I'm doing it through Etsy right now. So feel free and check that out. And the card I got is 4 of Pentacles. Well, it's kind of like a second chance to really let it out, to really let yourself shine, to really let the most truest of yourself out in the most beautiful way, and let your intentions be known, so that there's very little room for misinterpretation. Okay, so thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.